Each week, I'm joined by a top country star who gives me a hand counting down the hits, and back for a second week is my co-host, Morgan Wallen. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good, man. And glad to have you back here, too, because there's so much to talk about we didn't get to last week, including the fact that you just kicked off the amphitheatre part of your Dangerous tour. And I would think now that the crowds are outside of that, they might even be maybe a little more energetic.
Man, it's for me, I feel like my crowds have always been super duper active and super engaged. They've just gotten bigger, you know. So it just seems like they've kept the same energy that they've always had. They've just kind of multiplied. But it's cool to see, you know, the same energy that I used to feel in the House of Blues or the, you know, whatever, the Coyote Joes of the world. I still feel that same energy when there's 25,000 people.
Yeah.
So that is that's what's special to me, man. It's really cool.
Well, I've watched your crowd a few places. They are all in. They are. Last week, we talked a lot about your friendship with Eric Church, and of course, you opened Eric's Stadium show in Minneapolis last month, and also joined him at his show in Philadelphia in late 2021. Lots of things were going on last fall, and I asked Eric at the time if he had any concerns at all about having you on that show. Did you have any concern about that when Morgan came out on your show in Philly last fall, and when you went out with him in Bridgestone?
Nope.
Now, of course, that answer does not surprise me, but I could use a little more than no.
I know. No, because and here's what I've said to a number of people. I know him. At least for me, what I want to convey to people is this is not just something that I met a guy and said, oh, okay, this will be cool, let's go do this. I mean, I know him. I have equity involved here. And so I didn't think about it one bit, because anybody that would come and say, well, hey, what about this, what about that, I would say, well, hey, do you know him? Because I know him.
I think that's pretty valuable. That just shows you what kind of guy he is, you know, that he's more concerned with his relationship with you as a friend than he is anything else. And that means a lot to me, man. His support and his encouragement and friendship, I think it's probably meant more to me than he even knows, you know. Just over a hard time in my life, I think that he really just, I don't know, man. He just gave me a lot of hope and faith, and that means a lot to me.
My countdown co-host this week is Morgan Wallen, and, you know, playing Luke there reminded me that I guess it was, about 3 years ago that I saw you open for Luke Combs here in Nashville, and that was just such an incredible show.
For me, that was my favorite tour I've been on yet, as far as the crowd response and the crowd level.
That was rocking.
Yeah, it was. That's the way it was in everywhere, not just in Nashville. It was that way just throughout the country, man. And I grew, you know, that was my first time, you know, being direct support for a real big tour. So at the front end, you're a little nervous. You know, you don't know if, because he's got so many diehard fans, and I don't know if those people are going to know me yet. And I was a little bit nervous going into it, but really after weekend one, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. I can tell this is going to be fun everywhere. So it kind of his fans, my fans, they all took the pressure off of me and him, man, and we kind of just got to go out there and just do what we do, and it was truly a blast and a pleasure.
Through the course of these shows, we've talked a lot that you were pretty close to both Tyler and BK.
Yeah, we've been knowing each other since probably at least 5-6 years ago now.
And how's he doing? What's he got? 3 kids now?
Yeah, he's got a bunch of kids.
How's he doing?
I don't talk to him as much anymore, honestly. I you know, every time we get a chance to, we talk, but it's not as much as we did when we were on tour and all those things, you know. I mean, life just takes us all in different directions, and I don't talk to him as much, but I mean, I think he knows that I'm always rooting for him and wishing him the best, and I know that he's got his hands full over there.
We're counting down the hits this week with Morgan Wallen, and you want to talk about Jelly Roll a little bit.
He has something to say, you know. I think that's what you want to make sure as a songwriter. You got something to say. You got a story to tell. He does. He has a unique story to tell. I don't know all of it. I'm sure he'll be in here at some point and he can tell you more. But man, he's just a really good guy. His energy is really contagious. You can just tell there's a lot of love in his heart. You know, I walked into Big Loud one day and he was writing with someone else in there, and we had met plenty of times. You know, we were friends already, but he was on the phone and I was listening, and dude was buying like 50 pizzas for some kids or something like that. You know,
really,
he just does a lot of things that are just, you can tell that he's probably been through it, and he's trying to help other people who've probably been through the same things as him. So he's just got a really, really kind heart, man. And it's good to see him on this chart, and it really makes me happy to see.
We were talking about your Dangerous tour going on right now, and like I mentioned, you played 3 shows here in Nashville. A lot of the cities you're playing in, you're there for more than one night.
Yeah, especially in the arenas, we were. But with the amphitheaters, I think we got a few amphitheater ones where we're doing a couple nights in a row as well. But yeah, man, I mean, it's cool to do that. At first, before I didn't really know how I felt about that, because I'm like, well, man, is it going to be the same people both nights? And what am I going to, what's it going to be like? Right. But it wasn't. I mean, I'm sure there's obviously going to be some of the same people in the town, but it would seem like a completely whole different crowd each night. So, and it makes it easy, especially it helps me just with my crew and things. Everybody's a little more rested and stuff like that. It's nice to be able to do that. But I also like going to different places too. So we just kind of did a little hybrid of each.
Just announced that you're going to be getting the ACM Milestone Award at their ACM Honors event.
I am, yeah. I've never been to this award show or this ceremony, but I know that it's a big deal. I've seen some of the past winners and things like that. So it's a special thing, and I'm just, man, I'm proud. I'm proud of me and my team, and of the music, more importantly, first of all. And I always was, from the minute that we created this album. It's just, I mean, I don't know. You don't. It just keeps on getting recognized.
Yeah.
And it's special. I mean, I really appreciate it.
Before we leave Ernest here, we talked to him recently, and he was telling us how the two of you guys first met.
We met at a Big Loud Christmas party in like 2015, maybe 14, and we just, kicked it, talked that night, and exchanged Instagrams. I went back in his Instagram a little bit and seen him in a black and blue and gold jersey, and it looked like it was at Blackman High School in Murfreesboro, and I was like, I messaged him, I said, did you play for Gibbs? He goes, yeah. I said, what year did you graduate? He said, 2011. And I graduated 2011 in Lipscomb. We played against each other 2 years back-to-back, junior and senior year in the state tournament. It all kind of made sense. So we bonded off of baseball. And then, music, we started writing together pretty soon after that. And just our vibes got along really well. And so, we got along from jump. He's like a brother to me, for sure.
Yeah, man, same. He is he's one of the closest people I'm with, in the town. I think, just having that connection of baseball.
Did you recall that?
Yeah. I mean, I remember my junior year, because I was fully healthy my junior year, so I was in peak. I was an instigator for my team, I guess you could say, and we had a lot of attitude. Me and my team did. So Ernst's dad was the head coach for Lipscomb for like a really long time. He's like a legendary baseball coach around here. And I made his dad really upset that game. I remember that because I was mocking him, just trying to fire my teammates up, and he couldn't believe that I was doing that. And my coach didn't care. My coach is like, that's just how I am. He knows how I am, so he didn't get mad at me, obviously. But Ernst's dad was upset with me, so I remember them for that reason. And then we beat them that year. We won the state championship my junior year, and then senior year they put us out and they won the state championship.
That's such a great story. Just love how far back you guys go. We're counting down the hits again this week with Morgan Wallen, and before we listen to Kenny there, you were telling me about playing high school baseball against Ernest, and you also were saying that you were kind of the instigator of your team. Where'd this attitude at such a young age come from? This cockiness, this sure of yourself thing?
I don't know, man. I think I was always pretty good at baseball. I didn't necessarily get any better in high school. I was really, really naturally gifted. So like from the time I was 4 or 5 to the time I was probably 12 or 13, I was always the best player, and I never had to try, which was a gift and a curse. And then probably about 14 or 15, I wasn't working as hard as some of my peers, and I started realizing that, man, these guys are getting good. I'm like, dang, I probably ought to, I probably should start practicing. But it was it was a little late and ended up getting hurt. But I don't know, man. I don't know where that attitude came from or why that I was that guy on my team. I was like the spark plug kind of guy, on my team. I guess you would call it that. Yeah. They all kind of just looked to me to bring that energy. I've always just kind of been that pretty a wired person that way. Even my mom, she was like, as a kid, I'd be outside running around, and my friends would come over, and they'd go inside, and they're like, man, we just can't play anymore. We got to go to, we got to rest. Yeah. And I'm outside just still. So I've always just been on go. Yeah.
Hang on to that, because I do want to talk some more, a little bit about just kind of how those early thoughts on baseball came back years later to affect your current music career. Up next is a guy that you wanted to talk about, Keith Urban.
Keith Urban is one of the just best people. I think everybody in town would say that. I think it was during Whiskey Glasses. It might even have been before. He texted me and just told me, hey, I've listened to your album, and I love every song. I've listened to it all. I listen to it all the time. And he told me that mine and another album, and he said those two albums were like the only things that he's been listening to for the past while. And that kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't know that Keith Urban liked me or even cared about me at all. So that meant a lot. And then I met him, and then we kind of just started talking and becoming friends, and we still keep in touch. I still ask how he's doing and stuff like that. And he invited me to be a part of his All for the Hall, and he just always has nothing but good things to say about me, and I echo those same things about him. And I mean his talent is obviously undeniable, and so is his heart.
Morgan Wallen is along as my co-host again this week. And a bit ago, we were talking about your earlier life in baseball, especially in high school, and you were talking about being a really good natural baseball player, but maybe then that being partly a curse because you didn't work hard and other people passed you by. Jumping ahead 12 years, does that affect the way you are in this business?
Yeah, it does. I think that I learned a lesson. Because I've always been naturally gifted to sing as well, or naturally able to do these things. But I work really hard with this. This is not something that I take for granted. This is not something that I just expect to come to me. That kind of put a fire in me, more so than I even already had, just to realize that there's always people working really, really hard to do something, especially something that's so, I guess, sought after.
Right.
It's sought after to be a really good baseball player. It's sought after to be a really good entertainer. So I realize that, but I just want to be really good at what I do, man. I don't want to look back like I do at baseball and be like, man, I could have been better, or man, I could have practiced harder. I could have done something different. I don't want to have to do that twice in my life. If I can just do that once, then and I learned that lesson, then I'm okay with that, because I was a young kid, and maybe there was a purpose in that. Maybe that's why. Maybe God had me that way for a certain reason. But I don't want to do it again.
No, I get it, and that is just so cool. I mean, just the life lessons that you learn early, that kind of just stay with you forever. Morgan Wallen, along as my Countdown co-host. We've been talking about the Dangerous Tour and how on some of the cities you're staying a couple nights. I hope that means at least maybe you get a chance to get out to the town, maybe go play a little golf, maybe.
No doubt. Yeah, like this doesn't apply to the two show things, but we had our first, like I said earlier, our first amphitheater was in Charlotte. So we got there on the Monday. So our show was on Thursday, and we got there on the Monday. Oh, yeah. Because I was changing all my production. The same production I had in arenas wasn't going to work for the outdoors, amphitheaters and things. Right. So we got down there and rehearsed and all that kind of stuff. So I had 3 days in Charlotte, so I played golf and just kind of got to see some things out there that, like you said, you get a chance to do some things when you don't necessarily normally get to, unless you get up at 8 in the morning to go play golf on the road, which doesn't always happen. Yeah, I really enjoy getting to see the nice golf courses. It's pretty incredible the places that I've even got to go. So sometimes I'll go. If we got a show, like I did the same thing in Denver. So if we got a show in Denver, it was on a Thursday as well. So I got out there on a Tuesday and played a couple different places. Just to. I mean, these places are welcoming me, so why would I not, at least get to go experience it.
I want to go back and talk about one of your older songs that gets just a ton of airplay on country radio. And, Country Aircheck compiles this list of songs that are called Power Gold, and Whiskey Glasses is number one. It's the most played gold song, so...
That's pretty wild. Yeah. I mean, you think about those kind of songs like Dust on the Bottle and stuff like that, It's cool to be in that category with those kind of songs. it seems like it's one of those songs that's just going to be around, you know, on the radio, and just obviously in my career, it's going to be around forever. Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that song was really awesome and special, but it's cool to see just the staying power that it has, and just how much people love it, man.
Yeah.
You don't ever expect anything to be like that, so it's cool.
Where do you put it in your set?
I close with it.
Yeah.
You kind of have to.
Well, I told you before, I think I might sing it twice in the show.
Yeah. I mean, it would probably be fine if I did.
I'm sure, I have no doubt.
I could play it once halfway through, then take a break and start up again and play some more stuff. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just such a, I don't know, it's such a song that's interactive with the fans too.
Yeah,
you know, there's parts in it that's so easy to sing, and everyone is just so involved in that song. It's really hard to duplicate that energy.
We've been talking a lot about your headlining the Dangerous Tour, and you know, through the years, I've had a chance to get on the road with a lot of folks and just spend time with them on tour. And you know, when you're backstage, you really feel that there's a special culture backstage.
No doubt,
there is a culture in a tour, and it all comes from that headliner. It all comes from the top person. You know what? And so I'm curious, what kind of culture are you creating, or do you want to create out there with?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that I'm still I learned that too. You know, I've been learning that. I mean, I just want people to know that they can, you know, do their job. First of all, you know, I don't want any one person trying to take too many responsibilities on, because it's easy for people to get caught up in power and things like that. You know, me included. You know, I can micromanage. I can do all that thing. I want everybody to be able to do their job and have fun doing it. Not create too many egos. You know, like if we can just all smile and get along, because we're so blessed, man. Getting to do what we get to do. It's pretty uncommon to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I feel super blessed. I feel like I'm just living, you know, the dream. So I just want everybody else to kind of feel the same way and get along and love each other and have a good time.
Out there with you all year is Hardy, and I emceed a charity event here in Nashville a couple of months ago, and Hardy was one of the songwriters on it, and I had never really met him or talked to him much, and started to talk to him a little bit, and then during a show, he sang God's Country. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy is amazing. He is an amazing performer and singer.
He is, man. He's really, really talented.
As well as an amazingly talented songwriter.
No doubt. He's got the full package, man. I mean, I've known him for a long time before he was a performer, you know. And whenever someone decides they're going to become an artist, or you don't ever know if someone's going to be good at it or feel comfortable on stage or anything, you know. But Hardy, from day one, I was, yeah, he's fine. You know, he's gonna be all right.
I think so.
He's gonna be all right. So he I mean, I took him out on the road before ever seeing him play. So I'm like, you know, I hope he's good. You know, I hope he's gonna do this. But he was already my friend. I had a large amount of faith in his abilities and his talent, and then it just really shone through on stage. And you know, I was thrilled for him just the minute that I saw that. And basically after the first weekend of shows that we played together, I knew that he was gonna be all right.
And up next is Jason Aldean, who we talked about a little bit last week. But, of course, he was another one of your guests during your 3 sold-out nights here in Nashville. And you guys sang together Hicktown.
Yeah.
Was that your choice or his?
We kind of just collabed on the choice. I said, hey, man, you know, I got my band. Because when me and my band first started playing shows, I mean, hell, man, we probably played 5 or 6, because we did a few cover band shows when we first started, because my agent wanted to make sure that my band and us make sure we were good, make sure we knew what we were doing. So we had to play 4 or 5 3-hour cover band shows. So we learned 5, 6 Aldean songs, and we all still knew them.
Sure.
And that was Hicktown was one of them, and She's Country was one of them, and there was a couple different ones. And I just said, hey, man, we already know how to play these songs, you know, so do you want to pick one of these, or you want to do something different? And he said, Hicktown's good, so I love singing that song, so I thought that was perfect.
I want to talk a little bit about the video for this song. We seem to be seeing 2 different organs in here.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really shoot an actual music video.
Right.
We just, I was going to shoot a music video for it, and then this summer got really booked up. I actually had a really, really good idea for the music video, but I'm going to use it for a different song. I can't talk about it yet.
I was going to ask you about that idea.
We'll talk about that soon. Hopefully, I'd like to do it, you know, on some of the next songs, whichever one makes sense. But Yeah, I mean, man, I don't know. I didn't really do a lot of content or video for this album. Mm-hmm. It was just obviously a strange time, COVID, everything when it came out,
right?
And then just like getting ready for tour and everything. It just seems like, and it was doing so well. I mean, maybe it would have done better if I'd have done more videos. I don't know.
Hard to imagine that.
I don't know. But yeah, we didn't really get too deep into it because we were just focused on a lot of different things, you know. So we'll see. I'd like to get back into making a couple more actual videos soon.
I love the arrangement that goes with this as well. I mean, is it just kind of fit? I mean, just right from the beginning, you know, it has to be kind of understated, kind of laid back.
Yeah, the track, the demo was just really acoustic driven, you know, just a guitar part, and then my vocal obviously was on the demo, and then we added, you know, some drums and beats and stuff. But I didn't want to make it overly, you know, not overly produced. So I think that I'm really pleased with how the end result came out with that song. It was always from the beginning. When I was working on this album, it was one of my top three songs. So I'm glad to see it doing well.
The Dangerous Tour is up and rockin' America.
Yes,
and
sir.
You got some dates there for us.
No doubt. First of all, appreciate you having me on.
Always.
Yeah, we'll be in Saratoga Springs, New York on July 7th, Syracuse on the 8th, Fort Laramie, Ohio on the 9th, Pittsburgh on the 21st, Faster Horses on the 22nd, and Country Thunder on the 23rd.
As I said, you are rocking out there.
We going, baby.
Yeah, you are. Are you, what's next? Kind of guy like, what am I doing tomorrow?
Well, I used to be way more like that. I'm a little more planned out now because I got my kid. And,
right,
you know, I got so many things going on. I'm a little better than I used to be, but I used to roll out of bed and just be like, all right, what we got today? Yeah.
Of course, the current hit is Wasted on You. Best luck with that. And as always, man, it's great having you here. Help me count down the hits.
Appreciate you, Juan.